What's good, fight fans? This is Ash's Corner. Shout out to the LDBC, the Lions Den Boxing Community. And man, yo, this right here, let me just say, I was listening to Best Fight the Best live yesterday. And I was listening to it and I was scrolling through my feed for YouTube and I seen the real Marlo, first and foremost, who came out with a video saying that the WBC has changed the limit on Clenbuterol to a higher dose. Okay? And it made me mad immediately. And I went back to Best Fight the Best because I was going to say it in the comment section and let him know. But somebody else did. And he was saying, he was talking about it right then and there and had the shit up on the screen. That's how fast news travels, you guys. But this shit is disgusting behavior. This is ridiculous. Slam like that. It's the WBC. Shame on the WBC. Part 2 is the name of this video. If you would like to see my first video, I think I made it a couple of days ago, and it was around the consensus of the WBC giving these franchise belts out and painting the picture on Jamal Charlo and Devin Haney. And I want to make myself clear, I'm not calling Devin Haney a paper champion. I'm saying that the WBC is trying to put labels on these two perfect undefeated champions by not allowing them to fight the toughest adversary or the person they always wanted to fight or the person the fans want them to fight. The WBC is purposely doing this shit to our favorite fighters, and only because they want to protect their favorite fighters. Their money cash cows is Lomachenko and Canelo. So instead, the killers right now are time enough for these two guys, okay? Jamal Charlo has been ready for Canelo, been chasing him. It's a couple of other killers chasing Canelo. Excuse me. Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney is chasing Lomachenko. Lomachenko is now, he's not now, but he's at 135, and now it's a lot of younger guys that's record is being built up, and they're getting closer and closer to getting able to have a shot at Lomo, and they need to protect their favorites from these killers. 135 is stacked with killers. Devin Haney ain't the only person willing to fight. Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis, them two aren't the only people more at 135. It's a lot of people gunning for Canelo. So to protect their favorites, they gave them franchise titles and put the names and put these gave the haters of Devin Haney and the haters of Jamal Charlo reason to label them as negative things. That's not true. A paper champion is somebody who's running from opposition. Devin Haney and Jamal Charlo are no such fighters. And I wanted to clear that up and make it clear. I didn't think I made it clear in my first video. I am not calling neither one of these men paper champions. They purposely are making it seem like something in writing. If you don't know what's going on, if you've read just what happened, you would be like, okay. I mean, if you just read that who they fought and how they got the title without understanding that somebody was gifted the title and shit was shifted around for it to be as such, like the people in the future aren't, if they don't know what happened, you can probably label Jamal Charlo and Devin Haney something that they are not. So shame on the WBC for purposely saving and having favoritism to their fighters so they won't get good opposition. And they're really dissing the fans. We pay the checks. Even though when they get paid, it doesn't say fans on it. You know what I'm saying? But if it wasn't for us, there would be no boxing. But I had to get that out. I had to straighten that out. But about my last video. But this is part two of it. And if you guys don't know what happened, you can look at the screen. I have some stuff on the screen. I will talk about it. But you could just Google WBC and Clenbuterol. The information is going to pop up on almost every boxing website that there is. This is big news. It's bad news, but it's big news. But what happened is that the WBC has agreed to use WADA, which is the WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency. They agreed to use a higher limit of clenbuterol because fighters that live in Mexico are subjected to it because it's found in the country's meat. Okay. And because of this change, the WBC will no longer have to acknowledge the failed tests from their usual program under VADA, VADA, okay, under VADA. So yes, they instead of using VADA, with what they've been using this entire time, they're switching to the World Anti-Doping Agency because they have a higher limit of clenbuterol, and VADA has not yet changed theirs. And while this was being made, two other fighters got popped for clenbuterol, and both of them are fighters that fight and live out of Mexico. And they're gonna wipe that shit clean too. But the WBC did release a statement, and I'm only gonna read one part of it. Okay, they released a statement. They said a few things, but what they said was this is a confirmation of the innocence of fighters like Canelo Alvarez and Francisco Vargas. Now, for you to word it like that, the innocence, you're not innocent of something that was illegal when you did it. That's like saying everybody that's in jail for selling marijuana should have never been there, even though it was illegal when you did it. If it's legal now, you could take them people out of jail. They could go on with their life. Maybe you could take it off of their record. But they went to jail because it was illegal when they did it. Now that the law's changed, they can get their lives back. But what's done is done, and you did it when it was illegal. So for you to say this confirms his innocence just makes you think that, because these people aren't dumb. They're not dumb. Just makes you think that it was done just because they wanted him to be innocent. It was done because they did not want him to go down in history of ever using a PED. It makes you think that Canelo paid somebody to get this shit done, to take it off of his shit. But what my question is, how long has he been getting popped for clenbuterol? He's been living in Mexico, fighting out of Mexico, training in Mexico the entire time he's been pro. How many times has Canelo Alvarez been popped for clenbuterol? Let me move on. So VADA, VADA, was too strict for the fighters out of Mexico. Okay, and what I say to that is, if you want to fight in America, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to fight in the States, the United States outside of Mexico, if you want to fight here, you know, the fighters has to make the necessary changes to earn their coin here. Don't you think? Like, I understand. I know, as you know, people that come over here don't speak a lick of English will bring up a business and whatnot. But eventually, you're gonna have to hire somebody that speaks English. Eventually, somebody's gonna have to speak English in that shit. You understand what I'm saying? You have to adapt. If you want to come over here and make your coin, you gotta follow our rules. But I guess that shit's changed for Canelo, and since Canelo lives in Mexico, everybody else that lives in Mexico gets to use this advantage. Clenbuterol promotes muscle growth. That's what it does. Okay? And I guess that's how Canelo plans on staying at 175 pounds. But hey, with all the recent deaths, though, for real, with all the recent deaths in boxing, that tells you what the WBC really cares about. The WBC is making their job easier. They're tired of all the red flags against these Mexican boxers, so they move the goalposts so these fighters can, so these fights can go a little smoother, for the fights can just happen and everybody get paid and go along with their life. They're making it easier for them so they won't have to deal with a fighter getting popped for PEDs or a fight not happening or being postponed. They're tired of losing money. I see what they're doing, but like their jobs are so hard. What about the fighters? You're letting them beef up with Clenbuterol, and their opponents is the ones with the hard jobs, not the promoters, not the sanctioning bodies. The person that you got that man in there beefed up, the person that is fighting that beefed up dude on Clenbuterol, he has the hardest job. He got to try to stay alive in the ring, thinking that he's fighting a man that's equal to him as far as substance, but he's not. You're fighting a man that has something in his system that promotes muscle growth, probably for the last 4 months of him training for this fight. He has the hardest job, not the WBC. All they care about is the almighty dollar. It's all balls down to money. Raising the limit on Clenbuterol is going to give them the mind to abuse it, where the fighters will take it on purpose. If you're raising the limit for this, I'm more than sure you're going to tell them in grave detail on how much that limit is. And if any of these boxers did take it a little bit on purpose, they're definitely going to take this shit on purpose now. Definitely. And you can continue to take that dosage and be under the limit and continue to take it. Continue to take it. Eventually, you're going to be muscled up. But it didn't come from true training. It came from you microdosing or whatever you want to call it. A little bit of here, a little bit of there of PDs. It's very unfair. And that is only a monster would do some shit like that. You see these deaths, especially Canelo, man. Canelo knocked out Amir Khan and went over there and kneeled down like he knew he was dead. He hit, Kovalac and looked at him and stared at him like, are you all right? You all right? Bruh, do you really care about these fighters? Do you really care about your opponents, Canelo, and everybody else? The WBC, do you really care? Because if so, why are you taking it? Go down to your weight class instead of being the fucking catchweight king. Go down to your weight class and just stay there and, work out regularly like everybody else does. I haven't heard of so many people eating so much fucking beef and shit in the first fucking place. These are fighters. I mean, he's not a heavyweight. I didn't think fighters would eat beef all the fucking time. And steak and pork. I mean, pig and cow. I mean, come on now. You should be eating some fish and chicken. Boneless, skinless chicken. That's what the fuck you should be eating anyway. Something that's a lot more healthier for you. I mean, but how much beef do you eat where you had that much Clenbuterol in your fucking system? Well, I'm just saying, I don't agree with it 100% as far as him not taking Clenbuterol for anything besides him, he was just eating a burger or some shit. I just don't believe that. I believe he probably took that shit. You know what I'm saying? And now that it's letting you know that you can take more, what's stopping them from trying being a chemist with this clenbuterol shit. I'm just saying, man, this could be a start of a chain reaction. Just for example, man, like how the LGBT community came to be, right? One person complained, got what they wanted, and another person complained, and got what they wanted, and another person complained. That's what it is. That's, you know, since you changed it for them, well, how come you can't change this for us type thing? That's what the fuck I'm saying. I'm telling you, man, I think this shit's fucked up, man. I think the WBC is ruining this sport along with Eddie Hearn. I had to throw that in there, but man, the WBC, yo, what the fuck are y'all doing? Y'all supposed to be the most prestige belt. You supposed to know what the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to be classic. You supposed to know. You're supposed to enforce. You're supposed to lead by an example. We got all these belts now. The WBA got 3 fucking belts. They got gold, silver, and regular. There's an IBO floating around somewhere. Like I'm down with having just 2 belts for every division or whatever, 3 belts or whatever. But the WBC, I don't even want y'all motherfuckers part of this, man. Somebody else need to come up with a green belt. For real. Like this shit, the WBC is ruining the game. You're ruining boxing. First you take away the right for a fighter to fight is mandatory. Like what's the reason that boxers become boxers? Y'all about to have all boxers be Olympians so they'll know that they'll have a shot at the fucking time. Ain't nobody else gonna be boxers no more. They know they ain't never gonna get a shot because people like y'all. What's the use of playing a sport if you're never gonna if you never want to get to the playoffs, to get to the championships, to get to the titles? What's the use to even blood, sweat, tears, time, money? What's the use of taking all of that from when you're a child and building up your life to be a boxer if they're never going to give you a shot anyway? This shit's disgusting, man. The WD really needs to sit back and evaluate on what's going on. Think about and listen to what the boxers think about that franchise title, and listen to and think about what the boxers say about you changing the use of this PED clenbuterol. Is I think this shit's so messed up. Man, I really, really, really hope this isn't going to be a series. But shame on the WBC, man. Always like and subscribe to the channel. We all we got, yo. Peace.